Now to some weather coverage. A big change out there. I'm sure you can feel it even here in the valley, but up on the mountain, yeah, there's snow. We've seen it at government camp, and here's a live look at Timberline Lodge right now. Even though Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino told us the El Nino weather pattern would mean less snow, my goodness, it's off to a good start. Matt joins us now. Is this the beginning of the ski season? And not the ski season, but the ski season snowpack. Right. And is it going to stick around, Matt?
Yeah, not the beginning of the ski season, but yes, I believe this is the beginning of our snowpack. And back to the El Nino point, too. One thing that I don't think I mentioned when we talked about El Nino, but I've seen this happen with other El Ninos in the past where our storm season gets off to a rocking start in the fall, October, November, early December, and then it shuts down. So one storm does not an El Nino bust. Just keep that in mind. We've got the whole season ahead of us. But,
a lot of skiers hope it does, though.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
For sure. That is true. But right now, this is great. Off to a really good start. And what I'm noticing here, which I love, is look at the cars here. Look at that windshield there, covered with new snow. So, yes, we had heavy snow overnight last night and this morning, but it's snowing again. The road is covered. So while there was 16 inches of new snow up until this afternoon, we're going to get a few more inches out of this. I don't know if we'll get to 20 inches for the storm total, but 18, 19 is certainly within the realm of possibility. And the reason why is that next band of showers that just came through Portland and Vancouver, dumped everybody with a bunch of rain, that's headed up into the Cascades. So I looked at the top 5 October snowfalls. And this is for government camp, mind you, which is at 4,000 feet, which in October is a relatively low elevation for getting heavy snow, right? Because we're just up at Timberline. That's at 6,000 feet. That 2,000 feet makes a big difference. Yep. But we are now, if this one holds, and I saw 12 inches at government camp, it's in the top 5 greatest snowfalls we've ever had in the month of October at government camp. So that's good company. That's great to get that much snow this time of the year. So for snowfall in the Cascades in October, not uncommon. Happens in the first half of the month, Pat. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to last. But in the second half of the month, this time of the month, yeah, this is often the start of our winter snowpack, and I think this is. We won't keep all 16 inches or whatever we end up getting at Timberline because we've got some dry weather and some sunny weather ahead, so there will be sublimation and there will be some compaction of the snow, but I believe this is the start of our snowpack. And then I dug through the record books for the greatest snowfall in Oregon in one day in October, and I found 32 inches back in 1956 on October 30th at Crater Lake. And keep in mind, that's up at 6,500 feet, so a little bit higher than Timberline Lodge, but still impressive that we had that much snow in the month of October anywhere in Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now let's switch to the monster hurricane in the East Pacific. Down in Acapulco, I read that winds were something like 165 miles an hour when it made landfall. Is that going to spin off and have any impacts up here in Oregon?
No, that won't impact us here on the West Coast, but some of that moisture may eventually cruise across Mexico and then into the eastern United States. The storm has already fallen apart, but the remnants of tropical systems, as you well know, can oftentimes fuel heavy rainfall well hundreds of miles downstream from where it makes landfall. This is an amazing storm, though, Pat, because 24 hours before it made landfall, it was a tropical storm. I mean, this is what we call rapid intensification of a storm because it made landfall right over Acapulco as a Category 5, winds estimated at 165 miles an hour. We're still getting reports of the damage down there because all the power obviously got knocked out. Look at this satellite loop from the folks at Colorado State University. These are the lightning strikes, and you can see with the daylight hours, the storm just pounding inland. And again, it went inland right over Acapulco, so they got the worst of the winds, the surge, and the rain. Very, very dangerous storm, and it blew up. None of our model guidance picked up on this developing into even a major hurricane, a Category 3, let alone a Category 5. So what does it take? Well, to get the rapid intensification, we don't really understand sometimes why some storms intensify so rapidly, but we do know what it takes to get a hurricane to go and to really make it develop a lot, and these were all in place. Water temperatures above 80 degrees and warm water at depth in the ocean, that was in place. Converging winds, that forces the air upwards. And then aloft, You have the abundant moisture, no dry air, and you don't really want much upper level winds because that'll shear a storm off, or at least have all the winds blowing out of roughly the same direction and not too strong. So yeah, that is a brutal, brutal storm, and really none of the models picked up on it. So yeah, those folks in Mexico were thinking, yeah, okay, tropical storm, maybe a Category 1 hurricane. Next thing you know, they got a Category 5 bearing down on them. It's a really rough deal.
Yeah, brutal. Great description. Thanks, Matt. Always super interesting.